Do you give any thought to why the power structure used Valerie Jarrett instead of Michelle Obama?
Why the power structure?
Yeah, they could have inserted Michelle Obama in there instead of Valerie Jarrett.
Well,
they could have used Michelle Obama for that racial hatred time.
Well, but I mean, that's what Roseanne said, right? They were only responding to what she said. I think, and her point was that Valerie Jarrett. There were other pictures in the past that had a portrait of one of the apes in that movie that had a resemblance to Valerie Jarrett. There was that, and I think that her parents are Iranian. She was born in Iran, and so Roseanne, in her ignorance, said that's the Muslim Brotherhood, and so that was really, the point she was trying to make with that Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes thing.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, but I still think they could have inserted Michelle O'Bush.
But how would they have done that? I mean, just change her words?
Her name, just refer to her. That's all.
Okay.
But I think the reason they didn't do that because they didn't want to wake them up to say something about racism in this country and how it's exploding because they've been so silent on it. So I think they want to let sleeping dogs lie, and that's why they haven't been coming after her. Now listen, my good brother, I'd like to ask you something.
Okay.
Now when I call in about what I foresee as our coming extermination, you take it like you don't want to hear that, or I shouldn't be saying that, or here I go again. I just want to know, do I have a right to foresee our extermination, see it in motion, to call in and present that, and to warn people for what I foresee? Can I do that?
I don't think there's any question that you could do that. What else have you been doing for the last 7 years on this show?
Because
actually longer than that. And I'm not the one who does that, man. I question everybody. But there are many people who call after you who say those kinds of things. That is true. But I question. This is critical. I bring a certain critical view to whatever anybody says. So that's not uniquely you.
Well, I'm not talking about you questioning me. It's like when I bring it up, you say, "Oh, here goes James again. Oh, here you go with that. Let's go, man. Let me go."
Come on, James. You. That's not me, man. Come on, brother. It's hard to understand why you would say that. I don't treat you like that.
Well, that's what I have gathered from you, brother. And if I misconstrued that, I apologize. But that's what I have heard.
I bring a critical attitude, no doubt. But I don't dismiss you. No, I don't.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, let me say this, people. These people we're dealing with are psychopaths. They are mentally ill. And it's like some of them crazy movies they make where they want to do away with a certain amount of certain people. This is where we are today. These people are mentally ill. Now, there are some mentally ill people that don't know right from wrong. There are mentally ill people that know right from wrong, and they choose to do wrong.
Well, but that goes against the concept of mentally ill. If they're mentally ill, they're not supposed to be able to distinguish right from wrong. That's why they get off in prison, in trials.
Some mentally ill people distinguish right from wrong, but they choose to do wrong.
Okay.
Like Ted Bundy, who was raping young white girls down there in Florida and tying them up. Well, before he was getting the death penalty, he said he knew what he was doing was wrong. He said it all started with X-rated film. And they came down on it, but the man was going to be electrocuted. What did he have to lie for? But Ted Bundy knew it was wrong to tie them young white girls up and abuse them.
No, I got you. I hear you say, but I'm saying the reason that they use insanity as a defense is because it's supposed to preclude the possibility of being able to distinguish between right and wrong.
Oh, well, now, they're using it as a defense. Now, that's something else. I'm just saying in general, they know when they killing somebody and taking their life or got them tied up or brutalizing them, they know that that's wrong, but they choose to do wrong.
Gotcha.
All right, brother. Appreciate you.
All right, James. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. All right. Yeah, I hear that. think there is some pathology involved in racism. I really do. I agree with James that way, that there is something pathological about this need to demean the other, and I think it's easily seen. I mean, I understand why it happened. As I pointed out earlier, the culture of this country had to do that in order to justify the process that kept it economically solvent, which was enslavement, which was slavery. In order to justify that, you had to erect all kinds of denial mechanisms in your psyche, and that takes a toll over time. Back to the phones, Emma. Hey, Emma.
Hey,
how you doing, babe?
How you doing?
I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm good. In fact, okay, I went to the Printers Row Lit Fest today, and 3 people came up and bought my book because, well, more people than that bought the book, but 3 of the people said, I heard you on the Salim Muakil
Oh, wow.
show. So, I just want to say I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate it, too, yeah. Well, that's good. I didn't know you were out there. I didn't know you were going to be out there hawking your book. I might have made, said something about it earlier.
Well, I'll be there tomorrow.
Okay, you'll be at the book fair tomorrow, at the Apprentice Row Book Fair.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was all, except I did want to mention, who was it, the caller before last who talked about that there are only 1/4 of the melanin-deprived people. I remember back in the 60s, we used to always talk about the fact that 3/4 of the world were the dark races, but it seems like they're the people that these Europeans, especially the Americans, are going after their countries. And, like Gaddafi, like, Hussein.
But they've always, the continent of Africa, in fact, every single country was created by Eurocentric borders, except Ethiopia except Ethiopia, really.
Right.
European borders defined them. So they've always had their hands out for darker people's stuff.
Right, but I think they are trying to eliminate the darker races. I mean, what they're going, all the wars that they have waged have been against the darker races, and I think they know that they are a minority.
Well, you sound like Dr. Frances Welsing.
Oh, well, I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, I mean, but that's her point, is that they have this inherent fear that they will become genetically obliterated if they do not wipe out the darker races. But I mean, white people have been murderous toward black people for a long time in Namibia, and especially the Belgian Congo. I mean, that King Ferdinand, that Belgian murderer, he wiped out millions of black people. And that's when a lot of people thought that was the intent of Europeans, to wipe out the entire race of Africans.
I mean, they had troops, didn't they have troops over in Africa? I haven't heard anything about it lately, but I think it was last year they were saying, how come these troops, American troops, are in Africa?
They're all over Africa.
Exactly.
In 50-something, 40-something countries, and every country in Africa. But their justification is anti-terrorism. They have drone bases, especially in Djibouti and Chad. They have great, massive drone bases there, and also there are some that they're beginning to develop in Central Africa as well, Rwanda. So, defense, the Islamic threat, the Central African Republic right now is embroiled in a deep sectarian battle, and there are many American troops headed in that direction to kind of, under the guise of breaking it up.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. Absolutely, we are penetrating deeply, and also that's because all of the minerals that we need for this new technology, especially battery technology, coltan, and lithium is coming from the Africa and other darker countries, Bolivia, especially for the lithium.
Right. They've always come after us for our minerals.
Yes, they have. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, Emma.
Thank you.
Tomorrow at the book fair, Emma will be there with her magnificent book about, what's the name of the book again, Emma?
Confessions of a Recovering Racist.
Exactly, about George O'Hara, that great man, that Caucasian brother who did his best to try to wipe out white supremacy in the way he could. And Emma writes about it in a very compelling way, I might say.
Thank you, Celine.
Thank you, Emma.
Okay.
May see you tomorrow. Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's go to Brother Jay. Hey, Brother Jay got some time tonight. Go ahead, brother.
I guess it ain't coltan, it'd be vibranium they're looking for next, you know.
Right.
All due respect, Salim, I think that James, or Alabama, he could call himself, I'm the one that's always said he gives us our weekly dose of diet.
Yeah, yes, sir.
And James, we love you. I'm only saying that we and you both hope you're wrong, because in the end, there's no solution out of that Cassandra complex you got us in it.
That's the way to put it, Cassandra complex indeed. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's like Mike Jihad seems to suggest that Caucasian beings are a genetic defect that's contrary to our environment. When you hear him talk, do you think that's true?
Well, I think that we are one genome. That's the way I look at it, and we have genetic wisdom in that genome, and part of that wisdom is how to deal with increased UV rays. That's why we have melanin, and that's why melanin evolved in the first place. And so I think that's a part of the process here. I think white people are kind of hedging their bets. They want to get some melanin in their gene pool, but I also think this is the human journey. And a genome. If we begin to look at ourselves as a genome rather than as various racial groups, we're just one genome making various adjustments to our environment wherever we find ourselves. Then that would be the key, brother, to endless prosperity.
Well, I kind of missed the very first part of your show. I was even playing tributes, I guess, to the written, the last poets. That's what you've been doing the music.
Yes, sir. Well, I played some last poets earlier.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, one of his statements was from the songs on the Mean Machine was when it came time to the end, the men were like the women were like the men. Mm-hmm. And that's the most. I was just going down Lakeshore Drive, and just a little side note. You look at the Field Museum, you'll see these large flags. The first large flag, of course, is the United States flag. The second very large flag is the Chicago flag. The third flag is the Illinois flag. No. Is it even the POW flag or even the red, black, and green flag? No. It is a very large rainbow-colored flag. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking like, well, wait a minute now. What political statement is whether you agree with it or not, that the Field Museum is saying that they'll put that flag up as opposed to at least the Chicago flag? I mean, when it came time to the end, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you ever noticed, you'll just see it flapping in the breeze, I'm going like, okay, suppose you don't necessarily hear to that necessary philosophy, One of the things, I'm going to break your heart again. As you know, it was, what's his name, Charles Butler, who used the term urban terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not using urban terrorist connotation as done by the UN, but I do look at the word urban and people who terrorize, so I kind of lean towards that in certain sets that our people do. It doesn't mean we're forced to be there. It's just a statement that we have to look.
Terrorism has a specific meaning. That's the only point I'm saying.
I get that. And I actually kind of agree with Kanye when he says slavery is a choice, because obviously either you're willing to die or you're not. I'm a coward. I don't want to die. So our ancestors, at some point, if they weren't to just be totally want to be wiped out, we had kind of be making these constant choices. I'm sorry if people get mad at me. I can be Wakanda black like everybody else, but truly, slavery is a choice if you choose not to die.
No, there's nothing. That's why I agree. I don't think there's anything controversial. The point is that he said it in a way that wasn't contextual, and it allowed people to get some.
A child in certain respects when it comes to explaining stuff. What do you think about Kim Kardashian?
Say it again.
What do you think about Kim Kardashian?
I think you mean in terms of her getting Alice free?
Yeah.
I'm with that.
I think it's amazing. I can't figure out maybe some envy or jealousy about her looks or whatever. She did what was necessary. If you were in jail, I would hope that she would have done the same thing for you.
No, I'm with that all the way, man. I think we should exploit Trump's pathologies. If he's weak to flattery, flatter him. To get what I mean, we had no choice, bro. We are at the mercy of the president, so to speak. I mean, you know, and so we have to understand how we deal with that. We're in this country. We need access to resources.
Oh, I forgot. I was thinking. So you had a poem. And I literally wrote a poem. I was waiting on the phone. I was thinking about Bill Cosby, and so I had, to the tune of George Report and Putting It Pie, I had Weinstein and Cosby freaky things, fondle the ladies' pooty tangs, Me Too times up, press the rage, put them man beasts in a cage. And that's just something I just thought about while I was doing it, because the idea how we're going towards this, no matter what happens, we're going to make sure they're castigated before they have a chance to explain themselves, even if we agree that they're wrong.
They've gone overboard with that, man.
It is, of course I did. I just playing with you. Two other points. Actually, 6 Semper Tyrannis for the president. What do you think?
Say that again now?
6 Semper Tyrannis. That's all tyrants. That's what John Wilkes Booth did to Lincoln.
Yeah.
What do you think about our president becoming the same type of person, telling him he cannot be touched?
You mean in terms of not that he can pardon himself if he were to be charged? I think everyone, all the constitutional experts are saying that's not true. He couldn't do it. That would be an interesting development to see how this country deals with it, man.
But you do agree with his Russia policy?
I agree with his Russia policy. I do, yes, sir.
Israel, what do we think? Now, one of your cohorts did go to Israel, and all due respect, I think she drank the Kool-Aid, and all due respect to her, do you think
I haven't heard her response after she's been there. I hope she hasn't drank Kool-Aid. I know a lot of people who went and were convinced in one way or the other. I think it's just so uncivilized. It's so savage what Israel did to those Palestinian
Two last
protesters.
points. I wish you would do this. Can you possibly have some homeless people come on your show so we can actually hear how they got in this state of mind? And also, we need to address the idea that the fire department, which I'm very familiar with, there's so few blacks on the fire department now. There are less blacks in the fire department now than there were in 1977.
Wow, and you were a fireman, right?
I was a chief.
Yes, sir. Wow. And there are fewer now than there were then, huh?
Yep.
Wow.
We are in dire straits. So we're going to talk about having real things done.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
have an investigative report about why we never had what's called Appendix G. Look it up. I'll be glad to give you information on that. Why that was never, ever satisfied. In fact, we're in worse shape now.
That's a good subject, brother. Thank you, man. Now I'm going to be in touch with you about that.
Homeless folks and fire department blacks, we're both in the same boat. We are without, like James would say.
Without.
Enough said.
All right, Brother Jay. Thank you, man. Without. Okay, let's go try to get one more in here. Brother Martin, what's up, man?
Hey, Brother Salim, how are you?
I'm good, brother. How are you doing? Real quick, man. We only got a little bit of time.
Yeah, this is my first time talking.
Hey, welcome, man. Welcome. You got to call earlier next time.
Oh, yeah, I will.
Okay.
First, I want to say I think James gives a hell of a dialogue. Every time I hear him, he threw me to the radio. And one simple question, Salim.
Mm-hmm.
I hear a lot of black prominent men in our communities sound like good solutions.
Mm-hmm.
But how come we all cannot get to the table together? I hang up and listen.
All right, thank you,
Have a good
brother.
night, Salim.
You too, man. Thanks for calling. Call early next time, Martin. Don't be a stranger, brother. All right. Hey, cotton pickers, tobacco pickers, sugarcane hackers, rice pickers, enemies. The Geechees against the even the saltwater Geechees against the freshwater Geechees. I mean, much of our history is conflict with each other. So it's difficult to get us to see unity and comity. We've been socialized not to see that, and that's a lot to overcome. Many people have tried to overcome it. Some have been successful. Most haven't. We keep trying. We have no choice but to keep trying. We're gonna get it. I'm sure we will. Till the next time, Assalamu alaikum.